Finished up the driver's side header, just got done wrapping it. I'll show you guys how tight it is to fit in here. Well, at least the header's in. Kind of a pain. It's so tight in there. I have to take the engine mount off and tilt the engine sideways just to get a little more space in there. But it's in. There's room once everything's in. It's just hard to feed it in there. There's even a little fitting on the back of your steering box that I was trying to make sure that I could still get to. So we'll see. It looks like I can get to it. Obviously, all this has to come out again, but I needed it in place so that I can climb under here and run my exhaust all the way back. I kind of need to hook up these shock mounts. I got these off of a Cheyenne C20. So I'm gonna modify these to fit on the frame back here. They're a little too tall. As you can see right here, they're a little too tall. So I'm gonna modify those so that they sit on the inside of the frame. That way my shock mounts are kind of subtle. I didn't really want a cross member right there. And I'm gonna run them how they do on newer trucks where it's offset. They're not both in the back of the axle. I think it helps with some kind of I forgot what it's called, when your leaf springs bounce. When you get too much power for your little tiny leaf springs in your 36 truck. I do actually kind of want to mount some shocks before I run my exhaust, just to make sure I don't have any clearance issues. Well, let me show you what I did with these shock mounts. The ones you might have seen had a tab that stuck way up here. You had a bolt running in here and then two in there. So I went ahead and just cut that off. I don't know. TIG welded this plate on the back because it's not very square, so I squared it up. And then I also welded a nut on the back side of there. I already did this driver's side, you know, just one bolt head showing, and then I gotta drill holes in the top, but kind of just looks like that. These are the exhaust pieces that were actually from the GMC Envoy when I picked them up. But you can tell they're kind of, they got angles and none of that stuff matches up. So I marked it. I'm gonna hack these off in the straight areas, run all my exhaust. I'll cut these little bungs out, drill holes, and then re-weld these bungs. They need to be 6 to 8 inches back, a little bit of an angle. This is the exhaust for the driver's side. You know, bent everything up, fully welded. These are my clamps, some bushings. I got to make some little mounts to hold it all up, and then you know, a hooker, max flow headers. Kind of tight in there, but it's got room for the drive shaft. You can see the other side's all hooked up. Runs up and over the axle and underneath the gas tank and off the back. So the other side needs to be taken off. That way I can fully weld all that. But it is a little tight in here. All getting TIG welded, which is actually kind of nice on this thin metal because you can kind of do a longer bead and not worry about burning through. I'm trying to keep this truck looking old, like it just came off a farm. This is the exhaust. Hopefully the light is okay, but I painted all this brown so that it matches the frame. The axle will be brown too. It's kind of like how I painted the gas tank. That's a brand new gas tank, but I didn't want any of this to stand out when you're looking underneath the truck. So this is how the exhaust looks. It's a little tight in here for where the drive shaft goes through, but I have these little bushings on this mount, and I made little tabs that go on the gas tank cross member, and then little rods coming off the exhaust. That way, you know, you have some rubber bushings. That way, a little bit of movement, but not much. That way, it also doesn't have all that vibration going up into the frame. So that's what the truck's looking like. There's that shock mount I was telling you about. I still need to drill 2 holes in the top, and now that I have the bed off, I can do that. But also I need to make mounts for the axle. That way I can paint the axle and then paint the U-bolts and everything. So the exhaust, I try to make it look pretty subtle, made sure it's even side to side, made sure the gaps are the same. So nothing crazy. And like I said, I will eventually wrap from probably like here down underneath the tank. That way it doesn't heat up the gas tank, because it does sit pretty close down here. So I don't want my pump going bad from the tank getting really hot. It's tucked up beyond these running boards. And then the reason I angled it like that is so that it's hidden in the frame rails. And then I also, my other reasoning of pushing it away is so that it doesn't heat up these shocks. Because I'm also going to do these QA1 adjustable shocks in the rear also. But I needed these mounts in place, that way I can measure and see what a realistic amount of travel would be. Right now it looks like the axle can come up 8 inches in the rear. It would have to really kind of angle to miss the bed. So really I think I'd only have probably 6 or 7 inches of travel, and with these light springs I might actually hit that if I blast a bump. But we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna run it how it is. If I need to run different springs later, I might, just because I'm a little afraid of all that torque and horsepower on this truck, trying to just rip those leaf springs around or just breaking. They're old, so I'm kind of afraid of them just cracking and breaking. We'll see. And definitely I'm gonna figure out different mounts for these. I don't like this bolt just holds these together, and they're just kind of like loosely on there, and that was fine when you had like 50 horsepower or something, but 290 and everything's 80 something years old. So that's what the exhaust looks like. Pretty excited. Hope you guys enjoyed. Trying to get everything bolted down on this truck right now. Pretty excited. I had some friends come over and pull the bed off so that I can address all this rust back here. I'm gonna weld that patch in. You don't see it anyway, but obviously I wanted to weld that patch in, and I wanted that out of my way. Also, if you want to see some real redneck stuff, put my camper shell up on top of my Ford. Well, I needed an extension so that the camper shell can cover the cab. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Later.